Welcome to another episode of Drunk Guys on Chick Flicks, the podcast that thinks it's so funny, doesn't it?
I don't know how much. Yes,
It
yes,
thinks,
yes.
It thinks it's pretty funny. We think it's pretty funny. I'm your host, Matt, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Garrett. You know I fuck that up every time.
I'm just going to say hello.
Hello, Garrett. How are you?
I'm going to gloss right past you pointing out your own flub.
Flurb?
I'm not going to say, hi guys, it's Garrett.
I appreciate that, but like you kind of said it anyway by saying that you weren't going to say it.
It's like saying you're not going to insult someone, but then also
right. It's like saying offense, but
if I was the type to talk shit, I would tell you that. You know?
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
So Garrett, what are we watching today?
We're watching the 1995 classic, and we haven't said classic in a while. I consider this movie a classic.
Okay.
While You Were Sleeping, starring Sandy Bullock.
And Bill Pullman and Peter Boyle and Peter Gallagher?
Yeah.
Gallagher.
The dad from the OC.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are we watching it?
We're watching this movie because I won the bet last week.
That's fair.
Again.
2 in a row. Good for you. Hey, good for you.
Yeah. I was going to go more contemporary, and then like something in passing this week
just like made you feel like a real Sandy Bully romp.
No, this movie just popped into my head, actually. And I think it was... there's a joke later in the movie, and we'll talk about it later, but like I thought of the joke, and I think I was like, While You Were Sleeping. Of course. So here we are. We're going to watch While You Were Sleeping.
Okay. You didn't really give me a lot of lead time with this. You just kind of told me like this morning, hey, we're watching this. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I just have to find a beer immediately.
Like immediate. Well,
like immediately.
You did a great job. So this movie's about like a guy, without going into the plot now.
I mean, it's not spoilers. It's like part of like the tagline.
No, I don't want to like talk too much about the plot.
Oh.
You know, like until later. But
sure.
like basically, there's a guy who's in a coma, and at some point he comes out of the coma. And so, Matt, given that context, what is this week's beer?
This week's beer is Where Am I? By Springdale. It's like a Springdale by Jack's Abbey's Brewing Company. It's a double India Pale Ale, a DIPA, if you will. I'm excited. I stumble over a lot of those words.
I think this was a really great last minute pickup for you.
Can I tell you?
It's a loose attenuation, but
it's very loose. But like you're coming out of a coma. Where am I?
I know. Well, it finally, you said it a couple times throughout because you always associate it with the Notebook. But
no, that's who. Oh no, that is the same thing.
But this is a movie where you can actually say, how long have I been asleep?
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like this is appropriate.
Apropos.
Any cool trivia here?
Well,
any really cool trivia?
Well, I mean, there's some trivia, but we didn't even talk about the director. The director is John Turteltaub.
Okay.
Turteltaub. Now, coming off of a movie like this, would you expect him to direct more like rom-coms or more like kind of, right? Like you kind of expect them to all be along the same vein.
Well, I consider this a movie that kind of like shaped my idea of like the style that rom-coms are shot in.
Okay. Well, you would be wrong. Some of the other movies that he's directed are Three Ninjas, Cool Runnings, Phenomenon, National Treasure 1 and 2, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and most recently, The Meg with Jason Statham.
What?
I don't know. I can't imagine this being a very good movie based off of that alone.
First of all, Three Ninjas? Come on,
listen. He didn't direct Kickback, which is, I mean, good.
Rocky
good for him.
Loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily. Little brother's name's Tum Tum. It's great. It's great.
You were the Tum Tum.
I was Tum Tum. I most closely identified with Tum Tum.
Tum Tum?
Man, I loved Three Ninjas growing up. So
everyone loved Three Ninjas growing up, Garrett. You're not special.
Also, you said National Treasure, and I was like, oh, National Treasure.
Listen, I love National Treasure 1 and 2, but they're bad movies.
No, National Treasure 2 is especially bad.
Chamber of Secrets or whatever?
Book of Secrets. Where they go to the Mount Rushmore.
Harry Potter, National Treasure, Chamber of Secrets. That's not what it is. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway.
I don't have facts to dispute with you right now, Matt. That's probably
it stars Nick Cage and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Back to I'm sorry. Back to trivia. The Meg.
All right. I'm blown away by this, but okay.
Apparently the original screenplay was gender swapped. So like the person in the coma was the woman and the guy was the one who was like pretending to be someone else, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Again, just like half a sentence of context. A guy falls into a coma in this movie, and Sandra Bullock is like, she had an infatuation with the guy.
Pretends to be his fiancé.
His fiancé. That's roughly the plot, right?
So the genders were reversed in the original screenplay, and the studio was like, "No, that's too rapey. I'm not okay with that."
What was the exact word? Too predatory?
Too predatory, yeah.
That's far too predatory. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we were watching that flipped movie. I could see it being fucking way weirder. Like,
Sure.
way weirder.
I just feel like it's a weird thing to be like, yeah, switch it. Better. Way better.
Listen, I have no problem with it because I love this movie.
Okay. Apparently this wasn't originally a Christmas movie. Again, the studio stepped in.
It takes place in backdrop.
The studio stepped in and said, "Hey, why don't you set it at Christmas? It'll sell better." Which I think is like a weird thing. Like, will it sell better?
I think if we like really broke down the stats, like movies in this genre.
Wait, the what?
The stats.
What does that stand for?
Statistics.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
So I think we really broke down the stats. I think there's a disproportionate number of movies within this genre that take place in or around Christmas.
Would you say the angle of its dangle was disproportionate to the heat of its meat?
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay, just checking.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Because you've mentioned meat. So
what else is new?
So anyway, but I think like a really disproportionate number of these movies, like within the genre, right? Like have the backdrop of Christmas, if not like take place during Christmas.
It's a very romantic time of year.
Well, I think it's like nobody wants to be alone at Christmas.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, everyone finds love. Secret Santa?
Or we all hope we do, at least.
Something.
Secret Santa? What is it?
I don't know. But you know what I mean.
Secret Santa's the worst thing on the planet. Why? Why would you bring that up? Because you never get what you want. You get a piece of garbage from someone's like trash. Like from the dump.
You ever play, and we can talk about this when we get
White
closer to
Elephant?
Christmas. You ever play White Elephant?
I fucking hate it.
It is the devil's game.
It's actually what we do at my job every year, and I want to kill someone.
We did it at like a job I had like a couple years back, and it's the devil's game.
Yeah, it's a bad, mean-spirited game.
The Office. You ever see The Office one episode with that where they're like, "Oh, White Elephant. Oh, we just call it Mean Christmas." It's so good. Anyway,
It's very funny. We digress.
Yeah. So, I mean, is that it for trivia?
No, I mean, the rest of it is kind of just like, who was meant to play?
Potential casting choices.
Yeah. So, for the role of Jack, which is played by Bill Paxton?
Pullman, stop.
It's the same thing. Either one. It could be either. No one knows. There was Matt McConaughey, because I know him so well. I call him Matty Macons. Russell Crowe. James Spader. Dylan McDermott. Is he like a guy? Is he like a person that people consider?
I think he was in the 90s more so. Okay. But yeah.
Like from Jag? Was he in Jag?
I don't think he was Jag.
He wasn't Jag?
No, he was not Jag.
I'm going to keep saying Jag.
Remember that show?
It was a spinoff of something, I think.
No.
NCIS was a spinoff of Jag.
Was it?
I think so.
Weird.
So,
I think that I have issues with all those guys.
Well,
and it's mostly
Matthew McConaughey wasn't
too handsome. Matthew McConaughey is too handsome.
The reason they didn't take him was because he had his Texan accent, and it just doesn't fit like the rest of the family.
It takes place in Chicago, I think.
It doesn't matter. Like the rest of the family aren't from Texas, so.
Right? But like, I think he's too handsome. Russell Crowe's too serious.
Russell Crowe's also, at least at this time, very handsome guy.
Right. Well, I think actually generally that entire list is too handsome. I think the reason one of the reasons I like this movie is because Bill Pullman's just like real regular. He's just real regular.
He's every man.
He's a super regular looking acting guy.
Bill Paxton. I'm gonna do it every time. So blah blah blah. McDermott, Swayze, Brosnan, and Quaid were all also considered for Jack, which is
too much.
Also,
too
just
handsome.
Like, real all over the spectrum to me.
Way different movies. Don't care for it. What about the Sandy Bullock role of Lucy?
Well, and the first one that I read, and this was something that I said to you earlier, is just that what's her name? Julia Roberts turned down the role, and I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense because at this time every role was like, oh, Julia Roberts, and when she said no, all right, well we'll just get Sandra Bullock to do it.
Are you positing that Sandra Bullock
is a poor man's
is the mid-90s understudy for Julia Roberts?
Yes.
Wow.
Like that's not even like a thought.
Like just like sorry. So just like Like just mid 90s, or you think like today?
No, not today anymore. I think Julia Roberts' star has fallen at this point.
You don't think Julia Roberts passed up Gravity or
No.
The Blind Side?
No.
But can you imagine Julia Roberts in The Net instead of Sandy Bullock in The Net?
I don't know what The Net is.
You've never seen The Net?
What's The Net?
Oh my God, that's like a mid to late 90s action thriller where like Sandra Bullock is a hacker.
Oh, I don't want to see this. All hacking movies are fucking terrible.
No, she like discovers some like terrible government conspiracy or something. It's kind of like Enemy of the State. You ever see that Will Smith movie?
I love
Enemy
that. Enemy of the State
It's
is
actually
great.
It's actually similar
I think it might
to that.
be Will Smith's best movie.
Maybe. I love that movie too, but it's kind of like that same kind of like she finds a government secret and then they're after her.
Gotcha. We've been digressing a lot.
With floppy disks.
with like
so many floppy disks.
like the big floppy disks,
Like gigantic floppy
Oh,
disks.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, good.
All right, so I mean,
And then Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman auditioned for Lucy.
No.
She's too classy. Like they would make the movie like way too high class. She's not like believable to be like this weird. Oh yeah, he's my fiance.
well, I think they also dress Sandra Bullock down a bit in this
they do.
movie. So, well, she like works at like a turnstile or something, right? So they make her like
She's a train worker of sorts.
right, and they kind of like she's in work clothes a lot in this movie, and they make her seem like really plain. And it's like again,
Real
like
plain Jane.
in the same way that I like this movie because Bill Pullman is so like regular looking. She's so regular looking.
Every
in this
woman.
movie, too. She's the every.
every woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really complimented each other on that one. I appreciated it.
We almost harmonized.
I
Almost.
thought about it.
And then the last piece of trivia is just that the shooting, like the working title of this movie was just Coma Guy.
I so wish that had never been changed.
I really wish that was the name of this
Oh
movie.
my
Coma Guy.
All right. We didn't really have like a great bet, and I've also seen this movie. I've seen this movie a ton. So my proposition for a bet for this movie: Price is Right rules, closest without going over. How old is Sandra Bullock in this movie in 1995? Matt, you get to guess first because you lost the bet last week and also the week before.
25.
I'm gonna say she's 23.
Okay, I will say I don't want to do Price is Right rules after this one going forward. I think they're weirdly cheating.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the Price is Right is bullshit. I've said it. Bob Barker... No, wait, he's already dead. Never mind.
Is he dead?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think
so dead.
Didn't he die when like Adam Sandler punched him in the face?
Oh, just so dead.
Very dead.
All right, well, we can discuss that. But, all right, so you're saying 25, I'm saying 23.
Yeah, I think you're just going to continue to undercut me like a bastard.
Yo, you last bet, you guessed 20.
Yeah, well, that was my fault. I was an idiot. I had two... No, that wasn't last time. It was 2 times ago. It was
No, that was the other woman bet. That was last
Oh,
week.
you're right.
So,
I went real high.
I guessed 10 less than you. Tell me I'm undercutting you.
I just feel like you're a real prick, and I don't care for it.
All right, so that's going to be the bet. We'll see how old she is. Anyway, we're going to start the movie. So if you guys are going to watch Coma Guy, pause us here.
Coma Guy.
And as always, we're really sorry for whatever happens next.
And we'll see you on the other side.
And we're back. God, I fucking love this movie. Sincerely. If you did not watch this movie and if you've never seen this movie...
I did not watch this movie. Oh, I mean until
I was sitting next to you.
Yeah, we watched.
I was sitting.
We watched it.
If you've never seen this movie, listen if you want, but otherwise, like this movie's so fucking
still
good.
listen.
Go listen.
Always listen.
No, but like I'm saying, like maybe wait till like maybe go watch this movie. Go fucking watch it. Like pay $3.99 or whatever the fuck it was. Rent it, find it wherever. I don't think it was on it. It wasn't on any streaming services.
We had to find it.
This is a fucking good movie, man. Like I sincerely love this. We just finished watching While You Were Sleeping with Sandy Bullock.
While I was sleeping.
The Girl Next Door. Oh, shut the fuck. You love this movie.
No, I really enjoyed this movie. It was a good movie.
Just like broad strokes, you liked it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was. I think it definitely goes in the top half of my repertoire at this point as as it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's I think this is my number one, but we'll get to rankings
Number
later.
one.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it is. I think it is.
No, but I definitely enjoyed it.
This I don't like. You don't even, like from my tone. I'm sure you can tell. I love this movie. I think this is an amazing movie.
You seem like you're very excited.
Well, so this movie came out in '95. I was 8 years old, and I was talking to Matt earlier. Like, there were movies when you were younger, right, where it was like on VHS or what the fuck, or DVD, I guess, if you're old or
Like
younger.
Spice
rather.
World when you're 12 and you watch it over
but
and
it's like,
over and over and over.
But exactly, there were movies like Wayne's World, right? Wayne's World, like fucking like the Star Wars trilogy, like shit I had on VHS that I watched over. Like anytime you walked into my bedroom,
wore the damn tape out
during my adolescence. Exactly, you were like, you walked in, you were like, oh, he's fighting Palpatine. It's the end of Wayne's World. Like whatever it was, this movie was a movie that for my mom in my house. Oh my keys!
I fell on my keys.
Wayne's World, so good. So, for my mom, this was one of those movies. And when I was 8, this movie came out on VHS after it was in the theaters. I don't know how it did in the theaters, but like this on VHS, it was always on. Like it was one of the movies in rotation for my mother in my house. So I've seen this movie dozens of times, and I always like really had a soft spot for it, and I liked it. But I also I kind of watched it with fresh eyes today, and I loved it.
I still think I think it was a very sweet movie. I think it was very I don't know, heartwarming, a little weird, but super. Like there were parts of it where I was like, really, that's where this is going. Okay, fine.
But you just went with it because the rest of it was so charming. But it doesn't really matter. I want to start soundtrack.
Very little. There's not much to do in this
There's
movie.
a lot of like mid '90s like nondescript jazz music interlude stuff.
There's a lot of jazz piano. Sounded like the beginning of fucking Mad About You
or Family Matters.
Yeah, sure. The only recognizable song aside from like Christmas songs that they played was "This Will Be" by Natalie Cole. Right from second one, but after that, there's like not much else.
I don't think I heard another like licensed song like the entire time, but that's fine because otherwise, like the movie, it didn't need it. I didn't feel like the movie was really lacking because of it. And that song, the "This Will Be" song, plays like in the very opening credits, and I feel like that's like a really aspirational song. Like this will be like an everlasting love. Like it's gonna be like this wonderful love story that you watch or whatever.
Will it be an everlasting love?
Fucking absolutely. So before we go further, also the beer we drank
the Springdale. Where Am I?
Awesome.
Really, really
awesome
great.
Double IPA,
like,
really smooth IPA,
really super tasty.
Yeah,
like a little juicy, but not terribly too much. Yeah. I don't know. I really loved it.
No, I loved it too.
It's not something that's usually around here where we buy beer. And
I've never seen it before.
If I see it again, I'm going to pick it up. Like on just because it's been so good.
Like a 4-pack of Tall Boys. It was delicious.
Yeah,
it's delightful. Really good.
Also, real boozy.
Really boozy, which might lend itself to why it's called Where Am I?
Where Am I?
But great beer.
Right.
Do you want to do 3? I think this movie deserves 3 sentences or less.
Sure, but I mean, okay. So you go first.
Okay.
I generally go first. You go first.
Okay. Woman falls in love with stranger. Withdrawn. Sorry. Okay. So, woman who works as like ticket taker or whatever, on the Chicago MTA train platform.
Too much exposition, but go ahead.
Falls in love with stranger.
Don't we all?
Stranger like falls onto the train tracks into danger. She saves his life. That's one sentence.
No,
Shut the fuck up.
That's 2 sentences.
Misunderstanding. The hospital thinks that she is his fiance, and then when his parents show up or his whole family shows up, they think he's the fiance. Period. That's number 2.
So no, I mean that's like 5.
Then 3rd sentence. Here we go.
8th sentence.
As hilarity is ensuing with all of the misunderstandings with her family, she falls in love with his brother, who's like a really great guy, played by Bill Pullman.
Paxton.
Bill Pullman, the president from Independence Day. And it creates like drama because she falls for him and he falls for her.
Sure does.
But she's supposedly engaged to his brother, which is not real. Like she's not actually engaged, but that's it.
That was like 12 sentences.
Thank you so much. All right, now you go. 3 sentences or less, Matt. Help me out.
Woman saves man from train.
That's 1 sentence.
Yeah, that is.
Period.
Right.
I'm being you right now.
No, I mean, it's okay. I can do this in 3 sentences.
Well, that was just another one. So,
man's family mistakenly thinks woman is his fiancé. Period. That's 2nd sentence. 3rd sentence is woman falls in love with man's brother while miscommunication propagates the lie. That's 3 sentences. That's the entire movie. I mean, I did it. You didn't do it. I did it.
You want a fucking cookie?
Do you have cookies?
Fucking,
did you bring cookies to my house? I love cookies.
I
Okay, well, then don't offer. Like, don't offer if you don't have them.
will give this to you. That was more concise.
Yeah, and better.
I didn't say better.
Well, no, I know
one said
you
better.
didn't say better. I'm saying better.
No one said better.
Okay, fine.
But that's it. That's roughly the plot.
That's
right?
roughly the movie.
And it's great. It's endearing and cute.
I will say, Sandra Bullock is very endearing in this movie. She's very, like
fucking adorable.
Her delivery is very cute and like endearing. I don't know. I had a good time with this movie. I will also say that Peter Gallagher, while asleep through nearly the entirety of this movie, which is, I mean, good for you, man. Way to make that paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought, like, he's just looking at him. He doesn't seem like an endearing person.
Right.
He seems kind of like a douchebag.
But I think that's...
And it's built up in the movie, for sure.
Perfectly cast. Perfectly cast, I thought.
Right. When she goes to his apartment, you see all this, like, super modern furniture and like...
And blue water.
Yeah, you were really weird about the blue water in the vase.
We'll get to it. So, the last bit of, like, I guess, preliminary housekeeping that I wanted to get to is... Housekeeping? Tommy boy?
Sure.
Who is it? Housekeeping?
You want fresh towels?
You want me to jerk you off? What kind of hotel is this?
Are you okay?
That's like the funniest line.
No,
in
I
Tommy
understand, but like it's okay. Anyway,
who won the bet here, Matt?
I won the bet.
So we did Price is Right rules. How old is Sandra Bullock in this movie? Closest without going over. Matt guessed 25.
I think 25.
And I guessed 23. She was actually 29 just about in this movie, so
which is weirdly surprising.
She looks younger than that.
She looks younger than that.
She looks younger than that. She looks like she's for sure in her early 20s in this. But hey, I didn't realize she was born in like 1965.
Great year. Moon landing. JFK as president.
Yeah.
I
don't think that's the moon landing.
Spice World.
Or that. No, these are all wrong, actually. I was agreeing, and then I realized all of those is wrong? All of those am wrong?
I don't know. I don't know math. Math and history.
So Matt won the bet.
I won the bet!
Matt's going to pick the next movie.
I'll try and do right by you guys. Okay. And by you guys, I mean the audience, never Garrett.
Yeah. If there was a way to determine what our 12 to 15 listeners want to hear, but like something that would also really torture the shit out of me.
Wow.
That'd be right up your alley. So, again, all right, so that's the bet. I really fucking love this movie. I think she's great.
Sure. I think she's really great in this movie too.
And I think
they make her look unapologetically like frumpy.
But I think it makes her seem so regular.
Well, that's the point. I think that's the same reason that like
regular people wear comfortable clothes.
Yeah, like, she's in all these like giant cable knit sweaters.
And it's wintertime, you know?
Sure, and Bill Pullman is in like
jean jacket.
A genie jack.
Jean jacket the whole time.
Genie jacking the whole time.
He's actually Canadian tuxedo like most of the movie. He's actually jeans with the jean jacket with like a flannel shirt underneath.
That sounds about right.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
He looks like such a man.
A man's man.
I also love Bill Pullman in this movie. Like, I stand by what I said in the intro. He is so regular in this movie.
He's every man.
He's also... Matt and I looked at each other and we're like, shit, is Bill Pullman a really good actor? Like, is he so good?
I think he might be great.
There are a handful of scenes where he really makes you feel feelings for a minute.
Yeah, the one... Awesome. There's one particular where he's talking to his dad about, like, the business, about how he doesn't want to inherit his dad's business, and, like... Peter Boyle just like understands, and we're just like, Oh, it was a really great scene.
It was a really great
It was
dad.
a really great scene.
He was really nice to his dad. His dad was really nice.
His dad's
right
really
back.
nice to him.
It was so good.
I wish this was us.
I've got a great dad, Matt.
We both got great dads, Garrett.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about my dad.
No, but
right
we
now,
both
though.
got great dads,
So,
Garrett.
It's funny. So she, to less than broad strokes, the plot, like, right? Like, give it a little more context. She's an MTA worker, a CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, I think is what that stands for. She falls in love with this guy. She sees him every day, and she like thinks he's so dreamy.
She falls infatuated with this guy.
100%. Yeah, I don't think she doesn't know anything about him, and we find out that
You don't know him?
He's not the best guy.
Yeah,
so
he's kind of a douche canoe.
he's kind of a douche canoe. So, but on Christmas, she gets pushed into working Christmas by her boss because she doesn't have
Jerry.
family. And they like make it very clear, and they accentuate the whole time. She's really alone. Like the only person she had in the world was her dad. Her dad died the year before this.
And then she's got her cat, Meow.
Her cat's name is just Meow, which is great. It's what I would. It's what I would name a cat
Is it great?
if I could cat.
If you could cat.
Or wanted to cat.
Anyone could cat.
I'm
if
allergic.
you would
I'm
cat.
allergic. I couldn't cat.
Oh, you might be able to cat.
If I couldn't cat. You know what? I'm not going to make any concessions. I could not. I could never cat.
No one could cat.
So, but they make it really clear she's very alone, and they highlight that, and she never seems like pathetic or anything. But they highlight that she's
kind of
like,
lonely.
She's just like a real lonely person. She's a good seeming person who is just lonely.
A ritteroni.
So it's Christmas Day, and he's going to take the train in Chicago, and he gets mugged and pushed onto the tracks.
In a very gentle mugging. Hey, nice coat. Give me the coat. And then all of a sudden he just falls onto the tracks.
Right. And then she goes and she jumps onto the tracks. And just as the train's about to come, she rolls him off the tracks and saves his life.
I want to stop right there because the trepidation that she, like, I don't know. There's like a weird... where she's trying to wake him up, and this guy's clearly not waking up.
I don't know. She's like half his size. Like she's just trying to it's easier to wake someone up and get them to move than to try to move a person.
Sure, but if a train's coming at you, you just try and move the person. You just try immediately.
And ultimately she does.
And ultimately she did.
Ultimately she does. She saves his life. He goes to the ER. She goes to the ER with him.
Sandbag me, you son of a bitch.
And then he's pulled into the ER, and she goes to follow him, and some asshole doctor, some like smarmy looking like young
guy
doctor,
trying to make his name.
Yeah. He's like, "Are you family? Family only." And then he slams the door on her, and then the nurse in the waiting room overhears Sandra Bullock mouth to herself, "But I was gonna marry him."
Which, listen, creepy, but
I mean, but it was just like this aspirational thing, right? Like,
sure.
Like whatever. Like it wasn't like, but I have a hair doll of him. Like it was like I have
all his belongings in a closet.
But I'm addicted to his scent. Like
Right.
it's not super creepy. It was just this kind of like she thought she was like, well, she's infatuated with him. She's a lonely person. She's like, but I was gonna marry him one day. And the nurse hears that and it's like, it's his fiance. We have to get her in there immediately.
This entire movie is based off of nothing but hearsay.
That split second of her saying that is the premise of the entire movie.
No, but I mean, it happens again later in the movie, and we'll get to it, where, like, the younger sister of Bill Pullman and...
the pregnancy.
Yeah,
thing.
where, like, her friend at the not MTA, CTA? Is it CTA? Is like, what, are you pregnant? And the sister's like, oh, she must be pregnant.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Well, that was, like, honestly more of a minor thing in the movie, but it was more like... What? Like, what other wrench could they throw in the works here?
Right.
So whatever. So then his family comes, and they're adorable. His whole family comes because he's in the hospital.
They're the sweetest family.
They're really, really cute. And Peter Boyle's the dad. Fucking love Peter Boyle.
He's just Frank Barone to me all the time.
The dad from Everybody Loves Raymond.
After every line, I just assume he's gonna go Ray.
Yeah, Marie.
Marie.
I think Marie's the ma. Yeah.
Yeah. Marie's the ma. Did you have to explain that?
The mom is adorable. The uncle, it's not really the uncle. It's the next door neighbor who is his godfather, Saul, who's a great character in the movie.
He's I had a hard time because I kept being like trying to place him, and he's like the grandpa from the Problem Child movies.
Yeah.
That was like a hard thing for me to place. I don't know, but he's much more endearing in these movies.
Yeah, he plays a dick in that.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, he's really, really sweet in this. And then like the younger sister, and then like the eccentric crazy grandma, and they come and they're like, he's engaged. We didn't know. And you realize that the Peter Gallagher character, who actually plays, his character's name is Peter Callahan in the movie.
So, really stretching his acting chops.
Stretching his acting chops. Yeah. He's been pretty distant from his family, so it's not crazy that he would have a fiance that they wouldn't know about.
Sure.
And she kind of falls in love with the family immediately, and they fall in love with her. And then, she doesn't know how to tell them that she's not the fiance.
But like the next day, she like goes to like,
she goes
bedside.
She goes to visit him, and she confesses everything.
Right.
And an unconscious Peter Callahan.
Which also, this is another thing that like the movie entirely hinges on this one silly thing that if she had just not gone to his bedside to confess and just disappeared into the night, none of this would have happened.
If she just
shadow.
Ghosted
I'm a shadow
him.
now.
Yeah. No, I agree. And apparently we find out later that Saul overheard her.
Which I don't think they show in the movie.
They never show
Which
it.
is ridiculous to me.
It's fine.
No, I mean, if you're going to make this a major plot point, which it comes to be a major plot point,
right.
You show it. Like him like around the corner being like, hey, I heard that. Or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
She
falls asleep in the hospital. The parents come in the morning and she's there. And then she's kind of locked in at that point.
Right. She is locked in.
But then they invite her to celebrate the holidays with her because they didn't celebrate Christmas because he got into the accident on Christmas.
And she generally doesn't have anyone to spend the holidays with except for Joey Jr.
We'll get to this also. My favorite character in the movie. Her landlord is Joe. His son is Joe Jr. He just got out of prison. He's on parole. And he is.
I didn't even know that part of his story.
Well, at one point he's like, "Can I give this as a gift to my parole officer, Dad?"
I didn't know that.
It's so good. He's the best character in the movie. But other than him hitting on her and her cat, she's a really lonely person in the movie, and that's fine. But it explains why she kind of hits them up and like leans into their hospitality and everything.
Really leans in.
Really leans in. So she goes and she celebrates without the supposed fiance, and she's at their house and shit. And then his brother Jack shows up, played by Bill Pullman, not Paxton.
Paxton. Bill Pullman shows up and he's everyman.
And he's the everyman. He works for the dad, and they start falling. Like they almost start falling in love immediately. He is charmed by her the second he meets her.
Let's take this a step back too, because the entire movie takes place over a week, maybe 2 weeks total.
Yeah,
and like that's a short amount of time for someone to fall in love with someone else.
You don't know, Matt.
I don't know. I don't know anything about love. What do I know about love? I'm only married, Garrett.
I would, without sounding super lame, I would argue that it's possible.
Sure, I guess.
Like, I think you could.
If you know.
You could know. You might not say it, but like you could know.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. So anyway, like they start falling in love, and it opens up this whole like kind of macro plot point of they're falling in love, and she's falling in love with him. He's falling in love with her. But she is supposedly engaged to his brother, and
which only Saul knows.
Which only Saul knows that she's not. Right. But it's this whole thing where it's like she's, I guess trying to fight it also, and he's trying to fight it because it's his brother's future wife in theory, and they kind of can't help it, which I think is part of like the real romance of this movie, to be honest, because it's like. They can't fight the fact that they are super attracted to each other, and the fact that there is this false pretense. Sure,
that.
But I think that there's this false pretense that they can't have each other. It like creates this thing where it's like, oh well, if they were just playing along with whatever, if he was just assuming, oh, it's my brother's wife, and if she was just assuming like,
right, but
I don't know how this is going to play out with the brother.
Let's take a half step back because Pullman never believes that she's actually engaged to him.
True. He kind of knows from the beginning, it seems like. He kind of knows that like something's up.
He's always on the up and up about something happening.
What's his favorite of the Three Stooges? Curly.
No one knows that.
Curly.
Yeah, and someone says Shemp, and Shemp is no one's favorite.
Saul says Shemp, and I believe that Shemp might have been Saul's favorite.
No one is favorite. No.
She accidentally guesses all the right answers, though, to like his questions of like, what's his favorite this? What's his favorite that? What's his favorite this?
Well, to be fair, one of the questions was, what's his favorite ice cream? And she says Baskin Robbins. That's not a type of ice cream.
It's not a type of ice cream.
If she said strawberry, hey, that's a type of ice cream.
Right. She, like, in his freezer at his apartment saw that there was a bunch of Baskin Robbins with no flavor listed on it whatsoever.
Which is not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but so it's true. Like he is kind of aware from the very beginning. However, it doesn't prevent him from kind of like very clearly kind of being charmed by her and intrigued and whatever else. And spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, they're in love, right?
They fall in love.
But then at the end, and I'm kind of fast forwarding here, I know, but there's other stuff to talk about. But at the end, basically, Peter wakes up from the coma and he remembers absolutely everything about his life except for her, which, surprise, surprise, like he doesn't know who the fuck this person is.
Because he's never, not that he's never seen
He's
her
only ever
before.
seen her in passing at the toll booth or whatever.
The Phantom Toll Booth.
Yeah. Oh.
What a great movie. What a great book. I'm sorry.
So he like doesn't remember who she is, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's got amnesia."
Which is such a funny thing for them to jump to.
Oh, it's so like, well, because they believe her,
Right? Of course,
they believe everything because she's so sweet and earnest throughout the rest of it, to the point where she's gonna marry him, and she's gonna marry him in the hospital still.
Yeah, that was a weird thing for me is when they cut to, like at the end of the movie when they're like getting married and they don't even wait for him to get out of the hospital because it's such
he's
a
got an
pressing
IV
matter.
bag attached to him still.
Yeah, and there's people in hospital beds as attendants. It's weird.
But
it kind of seemed like the movie was like, okay, we have little to no budget left. Let's just wrap this up real quick.
No, I don't think it was a budgeting thing. I think it was a storytelling thing. I think it would have stretched the movie out much longer if they were like, and then he went home. And then they were thinking about
and then they planned a wedding.
And then she like pretended for another couple of weeks,
Right,
whatever, or another months, whatever it is. But, at that wedding, basically the preacher's like, does anyone object? And she says, I object.
Actually, he doesn't even ask, does anybody object? The wedding starts and 30 seconds into the wedding, she just goes, I object.
So she objects. So she's
and
like,
the preacher goes, I didn't even get to that point.
Right. And then she basically comes clean to everybody. And she basically says that
I'm in love with Jack.
She loves Jack. And Jack, who is the best man at this wedding, because he's Peter's brother, that says like, I'm in love with her. Fuck.
I'm in love with her. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So there was a heartbreaking scene though, but not like in a deep way, but just the night before the wedding, before she's supposed to marry Peter at the hospital, she goes and talks to her boss, who's like in and out of the movie the whole time.
Jerry? His name's Jerry, I believe.
Jerry. So she goes and she's like, I'm going to marry Peter. And he's like, well, what happened to the other one? And she goes, oh, you know what? Fuck. I've done this in a shitty order.
You're doing this terribly.
So I'm going to take you back.
Let's take it back.
So
back to 1995.
So after Peter wakes up, she's like going to marry him, right?
Right.
Even though he doesn't remember her.
Right. Just because she wants to be a part of this family.
And he's like, I'm going to, like, I don't remember her, but I have my whole life to learn how to love her or whatever, right? So she's trying on the worst looking wedding dress I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know a lot about wedding dresses, but this was a terrifying. I don't know if it was like her mom's or some shit.
Was it someo's wedding dress? Did they establish that?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But she's in her apartment, and then someone knocks on the door, and it's Jack, played by Bill Pullman, not Paxton. And he's talking to her, and it's like a really sweet moment. And she looks at him and she goes, Jack, can you give me any reason I shouldn't marry your brother Peter? And
he says no.
And he says no because like he's his brother. He's not gonna like fucking stand in the way of that.
Not gonna sandbag.
So then the next scene is what I was describing earlier, where she goes to the boss and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna marry Peter," and the boss is like, "Wait, what happened to the other guy?" Because at this point, the boss knows that like she's in love with the other guy.
I think the boss and Saul are the only people who are aware of what's actually happening.
Yeah, they're the only ones that really like have the whole truth. Right.
Which she also has a weird like relationship with her boss. No one talks to their boss like that. No one does.
I talk to my.
No, you don't.
I don't. So he goes, well, what happened to the other guy? And one of the saddest points in the movie, she goes, he didn't want me. And it actually like made me feel feelings.
You got really excited and like wrote it down a bunch. And I was just like, I mean, does he not want you, or is he just being respectful of his brother?
No, he for sure wants her, but in this moment, he like had to try to be the good guy and say like, no. And like
Not for me.
She like reads that as like, oh, he like couldn't step up. He didn't want me enough to say like, don't marry my brother. I love you.
Right, but you have to take that with a grain of salt because at that point he still kind of believes this is his brother's fiance.
No, I know, but I'm saying like it's weirdly like, I'm gonna use the word tragic, and it's not tragic in like a horribly tragic sort of way, like a star-crossed lovers.
Welcome to the tragic kingdom. Whole fields of popcorn. Just wait. Never mind.
I and everyone listening
hate me
are dumber for what you just said.
All right, Billy Madison, move on.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. But I think it's like a tragic thing. It's like a he didn't want me, you know, like, but like, no, you're fucking wrong. He fucking wants you so bad. Like you guys, you were the people that were supposed to be together. So then cut to the wedding and they both basically profess their love, but everyone erupts into like fighting. And
in this weird soap opera-y kind of way. Like all of a sudden Peter Gallagher's supposed weird fiance actually shows up.
With her husband, who she's still married to technically, apparently. Right. And then it was like, you proposed to a married woman, and it's a whole thing. And it's one of many things throughout the movie that go to show you that like Peter has been living the wrong kind of life.
Right. Peter's kind of a douchebag. Like just like I said, Peter Gallagher looks like a douchebag. Peter in this movie is
Peter Callahan, the character Peter Callahan.
The character Peter Callahan is kind of a douchebag.
He's kind of a douchebag, yeah.
But also, when we talked about this, Saul knows what's happening from very early in the movie, and he's said to Lucy's character a bunch of times, I'll make this right. And he never actually does.
I know. Honestly, I don't think it was his place to, though. Like
I feel like as part of the family and as someone who knows what's going on, it was kind of his place to be like, listen, I could fix this. But
it wouldn't have worked out the same way, man.
It might have. You don't know.
I do know. Know.
What are you, a Hollywood writer?
So anyway, she leaves. I just want to do the end, and then we can talk about whatever notes we might have. But she leaves, and it's like kind of sad, and she kind of just waves to Saul like quietly goodbye as the whole family's arguing in this like chapel in the hospital or whatever where the wedding was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And like time goes by, and then she's working, and she's like, the camera just shows the tokens popping through the slot she's taking the token, whatever. And then an engagement ring
drops into
the token slot, and she looks up, and it's Jack, Bill Pullman's character, with the entire family standing behind him. And it's the most adorable fucking thing in the world to me.
You're just an old soft.
No, I think this is actually like one of the cutest things in any of these movies ever.
You're just the oldest softie on the planet.
And she just like smiles, and he's like, Lucy,
I've got some splaining to do.
I've got a question to ask you.
Oh yeah, wrong Lucy, sorry.
And then he's like, can I, and then he's like, can I come through? And she's like, not without a token. And then he puts a token in.
And then Garrett cried like a baby for a big, several hours.
Fat little fat baby, like a fatty fat baby. So then he puts a token and he comes in and he asks her to marry. And it's the fucking cutest thing with the whole family watching. And it's like, I don't know, man. I remember being a little kid and being like, that's how you do it.
That's how love works.
This is how love happens, man. This is it. And she's like, I love you. And he's like, I love you back.
I know. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Han Solo.
That's Han Solo, yeah. Similar, not the same.
He might as well have been Han Solo. Well, he played, in Spaceballs, he played like the Han Solo role, kind of.
He did kind of. That's so funny. Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot Bill Pullman is like the Spaceballs. He's like the lead in Spaceballs in a lot of
For the life of me, I cannot think of his name in Spaceballs. Star-Catcher? Star-Lord. He's Bill Star-Lord.
It's not certainly...
Nope.
Certainly not. I'm actually upset that I can't remember the name either. I remember Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. And Yogurt.
And
Dark Helmet. He's Lone Star.
Lone Star. Fuck. All right. No more digression on Spaceballs. That I completely did forget that he was in Spaceballs. Anyway.
I'm a friggin' prince.
It's really fucking cute. She ends up with Bill Pullman after this whole, like, them falling in love and thinking they can't actually be in love sort of thing. It's fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
do you have just like general notes for the movie?
I have a bunch of general notes.
Oh, I kept noting it. Everyone in this movie said fiance a different way.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, like everyone's like fiance, fiance, fiance. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a funny thing. Like every third person said it like wildly differently.
At one point when they first meet her, they said, well, how did you fall in love with Peter? She goes, it was his smile. And Peter Boyle goes, well, they're all veneers. $600 a tooth.
Caps.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, $600 a tooth is a really good price.
Yeah. Sign me up for $600 a suit. It's a family that she doesn't have a family. I wrote that down like a lot. Like they keep emphasizing how lonely she is and how like warm and wonderful this family is.
There's a weird point, like when she first goes to spend the holidays with the family, where they like take a picture and it like freeze frames on the picture that they take, and then the dialogue continues while it's happening. I was like, "What?
Yeah, that really
is the
weirded
movie
you
frozen? What's happening?" I'm confused. It was just it took me out of the movie for a second.
So
I said, "Uh-oh, there's another woman," with a bunch of question marks and exclamation points.
right. So there were a couple of weird things like throughout the movie that I kind of noticed. Like, for example, when Peter's still in the coma and coma guy, and she's at the house for Christmas or whatever, and she's on the mistletoe with
Mistletoe? The missile silo.
mistletoe. Those were double IPAs, so fuck yeah. But she's on the mistletoe with Jack, and the family's like, kiss,
Kiss him!
and they're like, Jack, kiss her, you idiot.
And they kiss each other on the mouth,
On
and
the
and
mouth?
the whole family like claps, like, yeah!
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, someone says, "Oh, that's nice."
Well, that's actually at the end when after he proposes and he's kissing her, they're all kind of like watching, and Saul says while they're mouth kissing intensely, he's like, "Oh, that's nice."
Hey, Saul. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, we're on board with you, Saul.
Don't worry, Saul.
Hey, that's nice. Why is your finger in your belly button?
Stop doing what
Stop
you're
doing
doing.
what you're doing.
Oh, Saul, go home.
Go home, Saul. You're drunk. No. Also, the mom, when Peter wakes up from the coma, the mom kisses Peter on the mouth. Also,
There's a lot of mouth kissing.
a lot of weird little shit like
I'm
that.
not into mouth kissing. I mean, when it's not your significant other.
Can we go to favorite character?
Sure. I mean, I think I know, but who's your favorite character, Garrett?
Joe Jr.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Jr. is 100% by what's his actor's name is Michael Rapoli. He's in some shit. He's in that HBO show The Deuce, actually.
Is he?
He's like a main character in that. But you've like definitely seen him in a lot of shit. This is my favorite role of his ever. He plays Joe Jr., the landlord's like delinquent son who's always hitting on her and shit. And he is so fucking funny because he's like so pathetic and lame and weird, and she's like she treats
so
him
nice.
She treats him like he's so harmless the whole time
Right.
because he is, no matter how annoying.
But like
he
kind
is.
of not harmless.
No, he's harmless. He's just like
He's like sniffing her shoes.
he's just persistent. No, he's trying on her shoes.
whatever it is. It's still.
And she's like,
creepy.
"Were you trying on my shoes?" He's like, I slipped and my foot fell into the shoe, and then
What are you doing with your accent there?
that's like an Italian thing.
No, I mean, he was doing like an Italian thing. I don't know what you're doing.
It's what Italians sound like.
Okay,
so,
you're part Italian, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So I love him. He's the funniest part of the movie for me.
He
like for
may
the most
be
part.
the funniest.
There are
part
a lot
of
of really funny parts of the movie, and there's a lot of funny characters and funny character moments. But he, throughout the movie, is persistently funny. He's persistent comic relief, and
I know karate.
he's always hitting on her. And Bill Pullman, before he knows what's going on, thinks that she's like cheating on his brother with Joe Jr. to the point where at one point he's like, "Hey, I saw you with Joe Jr. last night. I saw you, you guys hugged." And she's like, "Yeah, we hugged." He's like, "But he was leaning." And the leaning thing is one of my favorite parts of this movie. And she's like leaning, and he's like, "No, like hugging involves, arms and hands. Leaning is much more intentional." And he like leans in, and it's this weird flirtatious moment between the two of them. But he's like, leaning requires like advancing and accepting, and he like makes it sound like this like dance that you're doing almost. And as he's doing it, Joe Jr. chimes in from across the courtyard. He's like, "Hey, are you okay? Is this guy bothering you?" And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, "Okay, because he's leaning.
He's kind of leaning.
And it's so fucking funny.
And then he goes, I'll be over here. If you need me, I know karate.
I know karate. Oh my God. I know karate is fucking so good.
Very good.
But he is by far my favorite character in the movie. I think he's great comic relief. I think the actor does a great job.
I think he's definitely the funniest character in the movie.
Definitely the funniest character in the movie. Do you have a character that is more favorite?
More favorite? My favorite character in the movie is Saul. Because he's like the only one who knows what's actually happening.
He's also pretty funny.
Yeah.
Peter, I know you since you were born and through the day you discovered your schmeckle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, fuck something like that. So good.
I also love that he's like, yeah, no, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And then he never takes care of anything.
There's one point where he's like, hey, I'm right behind you. I'm going to tell them right now. And she walks right to follow the family.
To the left.
He bounces to the left. So it's so fucking funny. Yeah. It's so good. I thought he's for sure my favorite part of he's one of my favorite characters. I think Joe Jr. remains my actual favorite character.
That's fair. You were saying that there's like a weird that her and Bill Pullman were having like a weird like intense flirtation moment, and there's like a couple of those, and like I understand that the love story is actually between the two of them, but like it gets to a point where like it got a little creepy. Where like, I forget what it was. He like shows up at her apartment, and she's just like, I think she was like trying to like blow off Joe Jr. from across the door, and he's like. She says something like, oh yeah, I'm in black underwear and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I'd love to see you in black underwear. I was like, oh, God.
I think it's more innocent than that, though, because he's like, she answers all the questions that Joe Jr. would ask before she gets to the door. She's like, no, I'm not wearing black underwear. Yes, I'm alone. Like, and no, I will not go out with you. And then she answers the door and he's like, I love black underwear.
No, he said, I would love to see you in black underwear. Which is weird.
I think he says I would love to see black underwear. But it's
agree to disagree, my friend.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
And then he says, but under the circumstances, I think we shouldn't go out together. But yeah, there is a lot of that where you're like, if you thought it was your brother's fiance, would you let yourself get this flirty?
Like right, exactly.
I do get that a little bit. It doesn't impact how I feel about the movie at all, though.
It really doesn't. You love this movie so much.
I do.
How much do you love this movie, Garrett?
I love it to the point where it is actually, I have written out and will now remember my actual rankings.
Maybe, for now.
I think I will. But this is actually my new number one. This is my number one. There's a lot of nostalgia like associated with this movie for me. I think it is super rewatchable, super funny, super cute, made me feel feelings. It's never too heavy. It never dragged. Like, there were a handful of things where you're like, oh, that's kind of silly. But other than that...
Speaking of things that were that kind of silly, they had like a couple of extra moments in the background. Not like extra
people
moments.
Falling.
Yeah, people just... At the very beginning of the movie, they're like showing panning shots of like Chicago, and they do like across like a frozen pond.
The ice skater.
The ice skater just takes a shit on the fucking ice.
And then the paperboy later delivering papers.
Who actually in real life took a shit on his bike and just like sprained his leg.
And it was hysterical. Well, I told Matt, like, I think that makes me like it more because it's not like they were adding all this slapstick shit in. It was like this paperboy fucking fell like realistically on ice on a bike, and they were just like, leave it.
We're keeping it.
And print. Like, that's so good. So this is my new number one. My new ranking. I've written it out. You ready?
You're going to do all 10.
Because
this is our 10th episode.
10th episode, motherfucker. Don't. It's fine.
I don't have my phone on me anyway, so.
This is good. But this is our 10th episode. If you are listening this far in, thank you.
We're sorry.
Yeah, thank you, and we're sorry. So my new rank is While You're Sleeping, number 1, for sure.
Wow.
Devil Wears Prada, number 2. Pretty Woman, 3. Clueless, 4. Other Woman, 5, still top half. 13 Going on 30 has now been moved to the bottom half at number 6. Spice World as 7. Crossroads, 8. What Women Want, 9. And Made in Manhattan, the flattest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
As a hard 10. Matt, what do you got?
The bottom half is very similar, but for me, it's number 1, Devil Wears Prada. Number 2, Pretty Woman. Number 3, The Other Woman. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I am a little bit surprised it's so high, but all right.
Number 4, While You Were Sleeping. Number 5 is... Sorry, I lost myself. Number 5 is Spice World. Shut Your Mouth. Number 6 is Clueless. Number 7 is 13 Going on 30. Number 8 is Crossroads. Number 9 is What Women Want. And number 10 is Made in Manhattan.
Okay, so the bottom of our list is identical. You had this as number 3 or 4, you just said?
4.
I'm actually surprised that you had it this high.
No, I liked it.
I mean, I'm not surprised in the sense that I love this fucking movie, so I think it should be that high. But I'm surprised that you liked it as much. How did the critics do with it?
So the tomato meter, the thermometer.
Yeah.
Is it thermometer or tomato meter?
I think it's tomato meter.
Thermometer. The thermometer is 80%.
Critic score.
Loved it.
Critic score.
Critic score.
See, dude, and this is a 23-year-old movie?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, that's good for a 23-year-old movie to hold up that well. Like, so 80% critics, and then what's the audience?
79%.
So they're basically the same.
Really loved it.
That's fucking awesome. So I feel totally validated in the fact that I really love this movie. And it's kind of sleepy because I feel like I've talked to a lot of people who are like, what movie?
Yeah.
You're going to watch what?
I know I saw this a long time ago, like while my parents were watching it. I was just like in the room doing something and watched it.
Right.
But I definitely do not, like when you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that movie.
Right. It's kind of early in her career. I mean, I think Mystic Pizza's before this, and I think I don't know if The Net. I think The Net is after this. You should watch The Net. It's not in this genre at all. But
I want a Mystic Pizza.
We could watch the Mystic Pizza.
No, I don't want to see the movie Mystic Pizza. I just
you want like a magical,
Mystic
like a magical pizza,
like right now.
I don't blame you.
I'm pretty hungry.
I don't blame you one bit.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So I mean the ranking. I think our rankings are actually like pretty similar. Like you obviously. The way that Spice World is up on your list is similar to the way that this is up on my list. And it's for nostalgic reasons, I think. And we were exposed to him at formative periods in our lives and whatever else.
What is an formative period in your life?
I don't know. I would say like pre-puberty and then...
Prepubescent.
Yeah. And then like maybe like early high school, like early puberty, like really formative for me in terms of like learning...
Learn the ways of the road.
Learn how to live in the world, you know?
Okay. The rules of the road.
Learning how to just keep on.
Keeping on,
you know?
Gotcha.
Should this movie have died?
No, but I think it may have. Like, I don't see it on TV.
I never see this movie on TV.
I think it may have died, but I don't think it deserves to necessarily. I think this is totally something you could catch on USA on like a 9 a.m., like on a Saturday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't think there's any real reason this movie should have gone away. I don't think it's particularly dated other than like her working as like a ticket taker. Like I feel like that's all automated and shit now. But like other than that, I think it's all like pretty...
It's pretty standard.
Yeah. There's really no like technology in it that you're like, oh, well, I mean the cars are old.
Even the lack of cell phones is like forgivable because it's never like, oh, well, this could have just been solved with a cell phone call.
Right, other than the other woman, Ashley, or whatever.
Right.
If she was texting, like someone would have seen a text.
Right, maybe that.
Because she's just leaving message after message after message on his apartment phone.
Which no one sees because no one's at the apartment.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's like...
That's kind of it.
That's kind of it for me, man. I fucking love this movie. I thought it was really cute. I think it's really sweet. I think there's a lot of really funny parts. I think it's totally, like, I would totally recommend it.
I would recommend it as well. Definitely like a good date movie.
Yeah, like you want to watch a movie, like you want to watch a non-action movie, you want to watch a love story, like this is a cute love story.
Just tell a girl Sandra Bullock's in it and she's on board.
Maybe, I don't know, but this is also like just like a really cute period for Sandra Bullock, I think.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. So I mean, I think that's ultimately it. Matt's gonna have to pick the next movie now. Woo! Unfortunately, at least I had a little 2-movie run. I'm okay with it. Hopefully, he doesn't torture us too badly next week.
No, I think I'm gonna try and be pretty reasonable.
Episode 11. But yeah, beer was great.
Movie was great.
Thank you for listening.
Company was great.
Hey, it was just us.
No, seriously though, thank you all for listening. Whoever sticks to this end of the podcast.
Yeah, if you have listened to 10 episodes and if you have listened to 10 episodes to the end, sincerely, thank you for listening. If you have told a friend, thank you.
If you haven't told a friend, tell a fucking friend.
Tell a fucking friend. It's good. It's good.
How dare you?
You think this content just happens? Like you think it just happens? You think it just happens?
This takes time and money
and alcohol.
Mostly just time.
Mostly just time.
Most of it's free
for us. So anyway, if you want to reach out to us, drunkguysonchickflicks@gmail.com, DGOCF on Twitter, at drunkguysonchickflicks on Instagram, Facebook, fuck off.
I mean, it's there. Just try and find it. I
fuck-
dare
just
you.
fuck off
Try and
it.
find
Just
it.
fuck off with
Just
it.
try and
Just
find
fuck
it.
off with Facebook. But yeah, if you have anything, questions, comments, anything, tweet at us or email us or what the fuck ever. But thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Hey, have a great week.